Hello there. It has been a while, over 2 months since I was last in the mountains. Been busy doing other bits and bobs, which I'll edit into this episode, various points. But we've got a very short weather window in the morning. We've got until around about noon when the rain is going to come in, but it's supposed to be clear first thing, so we are going to have an early start, and we're going to pop up one of the glidders that we haven't done yet. So it is 11:30. Probably going to have 3 or 4 hours sleep, and then we'll be up bright and early and out before sunrise, all being well. So I'll see you in the morning. Right, left Nan Peris about 20 minutes ago, and I'm just pushing on as fast as I can. I haven't filmed a great deal because sunrise is due in about 10 or 15 minutes, so the higher I get for that, the nicer it will be, all being well. But look at the view of Crib Goch from here. You can pick out the pinnacles, absolutely gorgeous. Well, today was always going to be a race. The race against the sunrise, I've already lost because the sunrise happened behind that big lump of land over there as I was catching the top of a Leida Fowler, but I can't see it yet. Never mind. But the other race is against the weather, and you can already see the cloud building from the west, and that's coming this way. The path has just turned into a mini waterfall now. And over there, the sun is almost popping above the hill. It's given me my first glimpse of it today. Wow, what a beautiful day. Oh dear. So I've not been in the mountains for a couple of months. I've been very busy in work, and the weather this winter has been really rubbish. There's been very few occasions with good forecasts, and when there was, I couldn't get out. So I'm sorry about that. But I have been busy on a number of different projects. First one is I've set up a Rudolph's Mountains Instagram page. So if you want a bit of advance warning as about what's coming, then have a look at that. My daughter, youngest daughter, has been teaching me how to paint. Thank goodness she's very patient. I'm not the particularly artistic, but we had an old table that the plastic laminated top had bubbled up and come off. So I decided in my wisdom to paint it. So maybe I'll cut to that project. It's still ongoing, as you can see. But it's nice to create something yourself, even if somebody, a professional, will think it's crap. Like my camper van, really. I love it. If you're a pro, you'd say it's rubbish. And I've also been tinkering and creating myself a new Rudolph's Mountains logo, which is here. So I shall gradually introduce that in future videos. Just shows you how bored I've been, doesn't it? But I'm just tinkering around on my computer, trying to find something to do. Anyway, we are back in the mountains now, and hopefully this is the start of a good run of days out. I've been saving this one because this is my 100th Nuttall on Rudolph's Mountains, and I had this idea of making it a bit of a special one, maybe do Tryfan or Earwitha, and do one of the special routes like the North Ridge of Tryfan, Bristly Ridge, or the Snowdon Horseshoe maybe. But just haven't had the weather forecast, and those sorts of routes you need to do midweek, because during the weekend you just chock a block. So they will come later, whenever I get a chance of a midweek dash out of work and film those corkers. So I've also done a few, calculated a few of my stats for Rudolph's Mountains so far, which I'll ping up on the screen over the next couple of minutes. Anyway, I've just gone over 650 metres, so about 300 metres of ascent left to the top of Ellida Valley. The other thing I've kept busy with over the last couple of months is doing some work on Stan the van. Another reason why I haven't been out, because Stan's been off the road for a few weeks while I've been welding in some new sills. I've been progressively replacing them over the last few years, and I've nearly replaced all of them now. But the job's not finished yet. I've only got the first coat of primer on. It's going to need a bit more work yet. And I've got a couple of new wings to put on too, so they need painting as well. So it's going to be keeping me busy. Right, I'm well into the rocky section. Just gone through 850 metres, so it's only about 75 5 meters of ascent left to do. So won't be long before we are at the top. The top of Hlida Fawr, my 100th top on Rudolph's Mountains, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And today the early worm has caught the bird because there's only me here at the moment. How long that'll last, I don't know, but let me turn you around and give you a quick view of what we can see. Over there we've got Mynydd Perthyn, Carthy Filas, where we're going to pop in a moment. There's the Carneth High, Penoli Wen, Carneth Daffod, Carneth Llewellyn, Ealen, Berrabach and Berramawr in the distance over there. Then the unmistakable Trevan, Egon, Glyder Fawr, Glyderfach, and then over the other side, Erytha, Cribgoch, and round to over there Moelilio, Mol Kingachorion, Lechog. Wow, what a great spot Hlida Fawr is. Absolutely gorgeous and absolutely Baltic. Oh my goodness. Right, I'm going to dive back into this summit shelter, get out the wind. Whoop, very slippery rock here. Let us whip Daisy out for a summit tour while it's quiet. Daisy, over to you, you little rascal. Thank you, Daisy. Right, I'm going to grab a bite to eat and then we'll head on to our next top before the weather starts to change. Right, I'm assuming the summit shelter is the top, but this little top here looks, when you're over there, looks a bit higher. Imagine when you're over here, the summit shelter looks a bit higher. How often is that the case? But bizarre. Just thought to have a little run and then some strange beeping was coming from my person. Turned out to be me drone controller having a hissy fit. No idea what that was about, maybe I just forgot to turn it off. Is that Marshall and Mower down there? It's the lake at the top of Electric Mountain. That's where they pump the water up to. And then when electricity is cheap, and then when electricity is in demand, they let it back down again, and through the turbines generate more electricity. Pump storage scheme, I think they call it. I forgot how much nice little scrambly bits there were on Hlida Fawr. It's a few years since I've been up here. In fact, I think one day I might talk about my scary mountain experiences. And one of them was up here when we decided to march along the ridge in the snow, and yeah, that didn't go well. Our legs kept disappearing down enormous holes and getting stuck. We were part in hysterics and part terrified. Yeah, we'll be doing that again in a hurry. Oh, right, this is just stopped here because this is probably the most dramatic side of Elaida Vara. Take a look at that little beauty. Gorgeous. Anyway, you can see out to the west the cloud is building, and so we're in a race against the weather. We can work it out. We're in the race against the weather. I've had that going around in my head for a few minutes now. I don't know where that came from. My mind is a bit strange. This is the summit of Mynydd Perfeth. We've been here before, but I've got to say, I forgot just how beautiful it was up here. Let me turn you around and show you the view down the Ogwen Valley. Beautiful, beautiful. I wasn't planning on getting Daisy out here, but there's nobody here. And it's so beautiful, I think it'd be rude not to. So quick Daisy tour, then we'll head over to Carnarthy Fielast, which last time I came here I didn't video the top, so that'll be a good one to get. Thank you, Daisy. Right, over to Carnarthy Fielast, and then down through the Norwig Quarry on the return journey. So even that should be interesting, I hope. Here we go, this is the top of Carnarthy Fielast. I've got some company up here, so I'm just going to sit out the window for a minute or two, and then I'll take you over to the summit shelter. It's hard to judge which is the highest top, really. The one we've just been to there, or this one just here. We've visited them all. That's the main thing. What a spot. Oh, sad to leave it really, because I know from this point onwards the views are going to go downhill, but don't want to be getting back soaking wet, do we? So let's crack on. Just a little bit of rain in there now, only spitting. I think it'll be okay for a little while longer, yes, but it's definitely on the slide you get a good idea of the scale of the dam at Marshland Mower. For me, that's the where the water's pumped up to from Electric Mountain, and yeah, it's massive, isn't it? What a huge volume of water that is. That's the Marshland Mower Dam behind me there. I've got a new navigation aid since I got it a couple of videos ago. I don't think I've talked about it yet. It's a Samsung watch, second hand. Oh, it doesn't bother me that. But you can download your route into the watch offline, and then you can just glance at your watch and see if you're en route or not. Let me show you. Which has been really useful. If you drift too far off your route, your watch buzzes on your wrist to warn you that you're not quite where you should be. So it's been a really good success. I've not really looked at my phone much at all today. So this is where I'm taking a bit of a gamble. I'm cutting the corner across towards the upper end of the Norwich quarry, and then I'm going to try and get down to the Snowdonia Slate Trail, which if I stayed on the main roads, take me way over there. So I could cut a big corner, but then if I can't get down to the Slate Trail through the quarry, I'll have to come all the way back and do that anyway. So it's a little bit of a risk, but sometimes you take the risk, you get the reward, and hopefully it'll be a really good shortcut. We shall see. Well, I'm in the quarry now. It was no problem getting in. There was a gate across, but the fence next to it has fallen down long ago and not been repaired, so there's no sign saying no entry or anything like that. And it all seems fine. I've seen a few people around too. Wow, what a fascinating place. There's an incline there, which when I looked at the map, I was tempted to come down it. But when you look at the condition of it now, it just goes to show from above that looks okay, but you can tell structurally now that thing is, well, collapsing. So not the sort of thing you want to be venturing up. I'll be sticking on the main paths to stay safe for. What a place. And you know, it's sort of fitting it's raining. You're going to be in a slate quarry. Always feels right for it to be wet. Wow, I love this place. Just mind-bending. But brilliant, absolutely loved it. And a long way to go yet before I'm back at Stand the Van, but I'll be picking up the Snowdonia Slate Trail. Slate? What the hell's Slate? I'll be picking up the Snowdonia Slate Trail, that sounds better, shortly, and then I'm on marked footpaths on the map. But to be fair, this has all been absolutely fine. I'm just leaving the quarry. Wow, it was absolutely epic, really enjoyed that. In fact, I've really enjoyed the day. It's been a very nice way to celebrate my 100th Rudolph's Mountain. So yeah, there's only a short walk back now to Nant Peris, where I've left the van in the park and ride car park, and then the drive back home. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and hopefully I'll have another one for you and you won't have to wait 2 months. See you next time.